here with Miami coach Anthony Noreen ahead of this weekend's series against Minnesota Duluth, and we'll have an opening statement.
Yeah, exciting day for us today. Signing day. We'll be able to announce our 2025-26 class. One of the really cool things about this and in our experience coming in here is that it's different than most leagues in that it's not a draft. You get to go out and identify players and pick players and get to know them and get to know their families and what makes them tick. And really, ultimately, it comes down to what do you want your program to be about and what type of people do you want to represent your program? What's the culture? What's the identity? And there's no bigger tool we have in doing that than the people we bring into this family. And we are really excited about this group. I think there's a good mix of skill and toughness, and above that though the character. They're impact players that have high character, and whether it's a defenseman or a forward. They've played in a great league, every one of them. They've got a ton of experience, and we really think that it's going to be a group that's really going to push the culture and the ability of what this program is. And a big part of that is just the compete level that those guys are going to bring every single day. So really excited about them.
Coach, how have you used your ties with the USHL to create this group of players, and kind of what have you seen over the time period that you've needed to create this group and bring in guys that you believe are fit for this program?
Yeah, and before I say that, I would credit the previous staff. Two of the guys are guys that were recruited and committed by the previous staff. A decision we made coming in to defer them a year. We felt it was best for them to want them to play a year, and the USHL wanted them to play another year. And thankfully, they thought enough about this place to stay committed to the new staff and still stay on board here. So outside of that, it's players that have played in a league that I and we are extremely familiar with. I think if you look around the country, specifically at our conference, and you look at the makeup of the team we played this past weekend, the team we're playing this coming weekend, the teams in the top 10 in the country, there's a pretty specific way that they're built in a pedigree as far as where those players are coming from. So we absolutely used a lot of the relationships we have in the hockey world as a staff, and with coaches in the USHL, and some players that maybe I've worked with or David knew personally or knew someone close to, or Troy or Zach, and through that we've really vetted it out with making sure again that it's not just the right player, but more importantly the right person, and has that high level of character and guys that are going to represent this program well. But it's some really good hockey players.
As these names have kind of rolled out, some Miami fans online have seen their commitments, and there's one name that kind of stuck out to a lot of people. Artemi Nizimayev with the Storm has found a lot of success, 49 points in 50 games last year, But what have you seen from him specifically, and what do you think he can bring to this program?
A lot. He's a guy, David got a chance to coach him for a year. Was very fortunate to have him for 2 years. We had him as the typical, and what's great about junior hockey and in the USHL specifically is you usually get guys and they're nowhere near ready to move to our level, to the college level or to the pro level, whatever it might be that they're aspiring for. And if they have the right mental makeup and they have the right skill set, and they attack it every day, how much better they get just being around. For a lot of the guys going to junior hockey, this is what's so unique about it. It'd be like getting a group of guys, maybe like AAU basketball, where you get a group of guys that they've just been the best team on every team they ever played on, best player, and now you put them around another group of guys that they were all the best player on the teams, every team they've ever played on, but they all have a similar drive. They all want to get better, and they just push and compete against each other. And the amount of growth you see in junior hockey of those guys, not to mention being away from home for the first time. Someone like Artemi speaking a new language, being in a new country, adapting to life over here and a new group of teammates and a new coach and things like that. I mean, you grow up fast, and he's a guy that was good his first year, but you knew the potential was for him to be special. And then last year, he played alongside a kid who wound up getting drafted in the first round in Trevor Conley, and he was a huge part of that. And just a guy that every day loves the game, wants to get better. If he could be on the ice for 24 hours a day, obviously we're going to need to make sure he's in the classroom and taking care of other parts of his life and sleeping and eating as well. But he is a kid. You talk about someone who wants to get better and is addicted to getting better, and is going to make the guys around him better because of that. That's Artemi Nizimayev. It will never be for lack of work or hustle or grit or him, leaving everything that he can on the ice, and might not be the biggest guy, but you want that kid in your foxhole. Really excited to have him here.
Coach, coming in not too long ago in the grand scheme of things, you hit the ground running as far as recruiting is concerned. But hockey in particular, all college sports, but hockey in particular, the recruiting starts so early. We just talked to Johnny Waldren. He said he came here the first time he was 15 years old to consider the school. So what challenges and are there any benefits to coming in and having a short runway to this first signing day? What does that do for you as a staff, as a person, as a coach to bring in these guys on such a short time period?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there was no other option other than for us to hit the ground running, and that was both with the portal stuff right away, evaluating what we currently had here on the roster, but also trying to a little bit play catch up with players for the future, specifically for this class, and then the classes moving forward here as well. I think it was why it was so important to get David on board right away, and for that to be the first hire here. He's someone who, he lived that the last year where he was on the road, he was in the rinks, he had an unbelievable beat on just what was going on in the hockey world, who was maybe going in the right direction, who was stagnating, who were guys we should be on early, which was huge. And obviously Zach was someone who, there might have been flux here and might have been change, but he kept doing his job. And that's that's why he's still here. He kept doing his job, and he kept recruiting and kept relationships up, even though he didn't know maybe what was going on in the future. And then obviously Troy coming in, he was already looking at guys from his previous stop and things like that. So for all of us, we knew what we were looking for. I think the first part is, what kind of players do we want? What is it specifically that we're looking for? What's the makeup? What are they like in again, what do we want Miami hockey to be? Because that's how we're going to do it. It's one thing for me to say it and us to say it. It's another thing to get the guys that live it in just what those intangibles are in every single guy. So, we hit the ground running, and I mean, I can't imagine anyone's committed more guys in a short amount of time than us. But again, we haven't over-recruited. We've gotten guys for certain years, for certain roles. We've been extremely honest about what things are going to be like and what the next couple of years or year might be like here, while guys are waiting to come here and building to come here. But the ultimate thing is, guys believed in this program. They believed in the direction this program is going in. They came here, they saw it, they felt it. There was an excitement from the players and the families that we brought in here, which was exactly what we felt. And why I decided to come here, and David decided to come here with us, and Troy and Zach wanted to be here. We believe in this place, and we needed a group of guys that there needed to be a chip on their shoulder. It couldn't be, well, when are you guys going to be, and how long do you think it'll take? Because if it was any of that, we just went to the next guy. We want guys that believe in this place, and they want to be part of the change. They want to be part of the group, and again, it's believing in something bigger than themselves was a huge part of this recruiting process. And also in an ever-changing kind of landscape with transfer portal and decommitments and things like that, it was important to get kids that came from a stock where they believed in being pushed and they believed in working through things. That was extremely important to us. We don't want the kid, and we didn't want the kid came from a place where, hey, if it doesn't work, well, it's not your fault, it's this person's fault, or it's that person's fault. We want the people that want to be here and want to work through it. And all those things kind of led to this class. But also, listen, a year from now, we'll be talking about next year's class, and we're equally is excited about those guys in the class after that. So this is the future, and it's exciting.
And you're right. That is the future. So let me dial it back here now to what's going on now. Coming back from St. Cloud State this past weekend, couple of close games in it till the end in both of those. Didn't quite get over the hump. But did you see what your team was able to do, taking more steps forward as you get ready and really get your first crack at NCHC play?
Yeah, I mean, listen, without a doubt, 2 hard-fought games, 2 great games to be a part of. To be at that high level of hockey where there's no room for error, it's physical, it was clean, it was hard-fought, there were high-end plays being made. I think Friday gave us a taste of, okay, we belong here. We're capable of doing this. And I think confidence is a big part of it. Now, the more important part is to learn lessons, to have the discipline to keep doing it, and to never take the foot off the gas, which we certainly can't afford to do. Part of it is really credit St. Cloud for the way they came out on Saturday. Part of it was us needing to mature and grow up a little bit because, to me, we played 4 periods out of the 6 really well. 2 were just okay, and okay is not good enough at this level. It's not good enough for this program. Those are lessons that we're going to learn, and we're going to keep pushing. But I thought, for the most part, or start to end Friday night, it's a game that could have went either way. Obviously, we felt like we could have had it with just better the chances, better the shots, better the possession, things like that. Saturday was probably a game we didn't deserve. Having said that, there were pucks laying there right till the end for us to put us right back in that game and get it 3-2, 3-3. So what we do is, again, we take the information, we come back. We've had good meetings. We've had really good practices this week. We got to continue to take steps.
And taking a step forward now, it'll be Minnesota Duluth coming in here this weekend. So they're coming off a couple of tough home losses last weekend to North Dakota. So what do you expect to see from Minnesota Duluth? They're going to be obviously a little bit angry as well.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to sound like a broken record here when you're asking me about these next group of teams every week coming up, but really well coached, play the right way, high-end players, but players that play the game hard. And you have to be at your best to have a chance against them. And there's a reason that they've been, again, the history of this program and where they've been and what they've done. We've got a ton of respect for them as a program, their coaching staff. A lot of the players are arguably the best incoming freshman class in the country. And, again, after 2 losses against a really good North Dakota team, who I know is a rivalry for them, I'm sure they're going to be looking to get retribution coming in here. And it's no different for us. So, again, should be 2 really hard-fought games.
Here with Johnny Waldren ahead of this weekend's home series against Minnesota Duluth, and we will take a few questions.
Johnny, this past weekend at St. Cloud State, you got the goal in Saturday night's game, brought the team a little bit closer early on in the third period. You had the whole team had a great third period. It seemed like it was so close, hit the post a couple of times. Kind of talk a little bit about this past weekend at St. Cloud and kind of where you think the team is at this point right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought besides the first 2 periods on Saturday, I thought we were pretty consistent, but I think a full game is like 60 minutes, and we kind of just can't that's pretty unacceptable how we played in those first 2 periods. So just kind of we have to figure that out. But other than that, I thought it was pretty good.
And up to this point now, a lot of close games. I mean, this team, no moral victories, and I get all that and everything, but how much do you think this team has improved from where we were at maybe the last couple of years since you've been here?
Yeah, I guess I don't really try to compare it. I kind of try to look at it as like 1 week at a time. So I just think just since the beginning of the year, everyone's games and how people are improving. And I think you can see it with guys, and each week you kind of can see what they work on and how they implement it into their games, and how our team can implement coaching or whatever the coaches are trying to get us to do into our game. And I think we've done a pretty good job at grasping that, but yeah.
With there being a number of really close games and being right there and hitting the pipe a couple of times, and all of that can be frustrating. So how do you as a leader keep your focus day to day, step by step, game by game, and continue to trust the process?
Yeah, I think when you're getting chances, I think you can kind of feel if you get a chance and then you miss, but you're not really getting chances throughout the whole game. Whereas if you're getting chances but you're missing, but you're consistently getting back, you can kind of have confidence in that. And I don't know, I mean, it is really hard. It's pretty frustrating when you can't score, and then so it's hard. I have a hard time with that. But I think just consistently not letting that derail you, and know if you miss a shot, know that you can be good enough, or you can make the next play, and kind of the opportunities will keep coming if you keep doing things the right way.
And as a leader on the team, how do you help the younger guys with sort of battling through that?
I don't know. I'm pretty adamant on not being afraid to make mistakes. I think mistakes are good because you can learn from them a lot of the times. And if you're trying to make a play and you try to cut to the middle and then it doesn't work, next time you have to do something else. So I think just not letting something derail you, and just because you turn a puck over, you can get that back and make the next great play. So yeah.
Friday's game was a really close one in overtime. Just curious how you see the ice when you're playing on an Olympic-sized sheet and it's 3-on-3. There's plenty of space out there. Felt like you guys got a lot of good chances in overtime too. So what do you see out there? Kind of how do you facilitate offense out there?
Yeah, I think I played in junior hockey. I played on Olympic sheet, so I kind of get excited when we go to St. Cloud because I like playing out there. And I think just anytime you give more time and space with the puck, it's kind of nice because you can I feel like it's easier to let the play develop and where it comes, and then I think just not forcing anything, and because usually if if you can make the pass, you kind of know it, and then when you force something, you kind of are reaching for it. So I think in 3-on-3 it's really important. If you're gonna shoot the puck, it's got to be a good chance, and you can't really waste it just because puck possession is so important in 3-on-3.
Special teams has been a huge thing for you guys so far this year. In terms of penalty killing, how do you guys maintain staying out of the box, first of all, while in kind of these really hard, fast, competitive conference games that you guys are getting into now?
I don't know. I think there's like two different kinds of penalties. I think there's like hard penalties that you're gonna take like sometimes if you're like working hard, and then there's just undisciplined penalties. So like we're kind of like pretty like vocal on like if you're gonna take a hard penalty, like we'll kill it off. But like the ones that like are undisciplined, like stick penalties, like we don't want those, and we need to like do a better job of like not getting those. But I think we're pretty confident in our kill right now, and every time we're going out there, like we're pretty confident that we're gonna be able to kill it off. So yeah.
On a bigger program picture, you're now in your junior year, and this week the new class that is committing and recruits are being announced. Kind of reflect back to when you first knew about Miami and kind of your path to get here to Miami, what that was like.
Yeah, I think I was 15 when I came on a visit here, and it was like in March or something, and I kind of wanted to like commit on the way back just because I love the school and like what it was about. Like I didn't really know what Miami was like going into it, but then I kind of just like fell in love with it, and then my parents didn't let me like commit till like 4 months later, but I kind of was. After that, I was like pretty set on Miami my whole like time, like even like throughout like a coaching change, like I still like wanted to go like come here. Obviously coaches are important, but I just like kind of fell in love with the place and was always pretty committed to coming here.
And you getting into the sport of hockey too, Chicago, kind of the state of Illinois, that's a big hockey region. What was kind of your upbringing getting into the sport of hockey?
Yeah, my dad played at Wisconsin Stevens Point where Noreen played, and then so he kind of just got me into it when I was really young, and then he played like a little like pro roller hockey after. So I kind of just always been like around the game my whole life.
And let's not forget your mom, pretty athletic family.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. My mom's like a softball pitching coach, so she played Division III at North Central College. So yeah, pretty like yeah. My parents are pretty sporty, but yeah.